Hi everyone, and welcome back to A Peaceful Pursuit. My name is Michaela. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my homemaking goals for 2023. So I really wanted to make this a separate video because I am transitioning into working from home with a flexible remote job. I'm not technically like a full-time homemaker. I guess I'm a work from home homemaker because of the flexibility and just the nature of it and how I am able to put my home and family first. Because of it, I'm still going to be considering myself primarily a homemaker. So you are still a homemaker if you are working outside the home. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm mostly considering myself a homemaker and it's super exciting. So I wanted to set aside some specific goals for homemaking so that as I go into this transition, I have some intentionality behind it because it's definitely going to be an adjustment for me. I've been working full-time plus outside of the home since I was literally 15 or 16. And then even before that, I was like volunteering, babysitting, stuff like that. So this is going to be very different and it's not going to be easy because if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I have struggled with putting my worth in productivity, and I also just really struggle with like weeding through what parts of our culture are okay, I guess, and what parts are like I can let that go and seek the Lord on how He wants me to handle that. So it's a journey. It's been a journey this whole year as I've been prepping for this, but now that it's here, it's like, okay, this is kind of scary. So let's get right into the goals. So some of these are just very practical, pragmatic, like kitchen stuff that I want to learn, house stuff that I want to learn, and then some of them are a little more like relational. You know, it just kind of depends. So I'm gonna start at the top. So my first goal is to begin and maintain a sourdough starter. I've been wanting to do this for honestly probably 2 years, but I was waiting to get our gravity water filter. We have the Pro one and I have really been liking it, but now that we have that and I'm gonna have time to be home, I would like to get one of those going and really just learn a lot about it and maintain it and just have that option to make things healthier at home. So of course, obviously you can make bread, so we can have like sandwich bread, you could do bagels, English muffins, so many different things. But basically I want to get good at 3 to 5 recipes in the next year after, you know, establishing and maintaining the starter, because that's going to be the first part. And then I just want to get good at 3 to 5 recipes, and then beyond that, if I learn anything else, that would be great, but it would just be a bonus. Starting and maintaining the starter, and then a minimum of 3 recipes that I feel pretty confident in. So whether that's sandwich bread, you know, pizza dough, I don't know, but 3 things that I feel confident in that I can bring into my cooking routine and just feel good about making that and serving that for my family. The second goal that I have is to get into fermenting foods. This has been something I've wanted to do for a long time as well. All of these things you probably could do, you know, on a weekend if you're working full time, but it just feels like when you're working full time outside the home, it really just feels like I can't commit to, I don't know, I probably could have, but it would take longer. I'd have to commit to one thing for a while and do that before committing to something else. Whereas if I'm home more and I have a little bit more time, I could probably learn a few things a little bit quicker. So fermenting foods, I'd really like to start making sauerkraut. My husband does not like sauerkraut, but I love it. I think it is so good. So it'll probably just be me eating it until baby is a little bit older, because obviously he's not gonna be eating food for a while, but I do want to make sauerkraut. And then I want to make water kefir sodas. This would probably be like next spring, summer. Lisa from Farmhouse on Boone, I feel like I always mention her because I just use so many of her recipes, and I'm going to use her recipes too for sourdough, but she has a water kefir like soda recipe that just sounds so good, full of probiotics, so I really want to learn how to make that. Then just other vegetables. You can ferment so many things. You can do garlic, you can do peppers, you can do like ketchup, I don't know, just so many things. I just want to get lots of those probiotics into our diet and just really learn that process. So my next goal has to do with cleaning, and this is something that I am very excited about, to the point of nerding out about it, but I always feel like I just can't keep up with the house working full time because I don't know, I've tried it all with having 40 plus hours outside of the home. I've tried like having a different zone on a day. I've tried doing just one small thing a day. I don't know, you name it, and I've probably tried it. And it just, I don't know, I could never keep up with it. And maybe that's just me, you know, having to learn different seasons. You have to reevaluate, switch things up. Possibly, I'm not really sure, but I felt like I couldn't even commit to it for like 1 week because I would just be exhausted by Wednesday night, and then I'm like, man, I still have to do this, and then I'm not getting enough sleep, I didn't work out, you know, all the things. So I would like to create systems that keep the house relatively clean all the time. And now I do want to make clear that clean does not necessarily mean that you don't have clutter and like, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that your pillows are perfectly placed all the time. That isn't really what I'm talking about, because people live in your home and you want it to be lived in, and you want people to feel comfortable and like they can, you know, take a deep breath here and relax. So I'm not saying that everything has to be spotless in its place all the time. I just feel like I will fall behind on the actual cleanliness. So like a bathroom not getting cleaned as often as it should, I don't want that to happen anymore because that is super gross and I don't like that, and that's just never been who I am as a person. Like I've always been kind of a clean freak, but especially in pregnancy I had to really give myself a lot of grace being sick. But I don't want that to be a thing anymore, if that makes sense. So I would like my home to, for the most part, not be dusty. I'd like my bathrooms to be clean most of the time. So I need to create systems that are going to help me do that in a way that is not taking away from my family, not making me a stressed out monster so that I'm, you know, treating my family how they shouldn't be treated, but also keeping the house running like the machine that it needs to run like, so that we can, you know, live efficiently every day and be comfortable and still be able to kick our feet up and enjoy a clean space. So hopefully that makes sense, because I feel like people can kind of get, especially women, we get like, oh, my house has to be perfect, and I'm not at all saying that. Like I am not going to worry about, you know, toys being places and things like that. Obviously if I'm cleaning a particular room, I'm going to have to pick it up in order to clean it, but I'm more so talking about the overall cleanliness, because there is a difference between, you know, clean and dirty, clean versus dirty, and then just like mess, like of things. Those two things are completely different. Sub note on that one, I put cleaning schedules may have to be revisited multiple times, and that is okay. And that's probably something that I could have learned more while working full-time, was that I just needed to keep figuring it out till I found something that worked. Now that we're moving into me being home, it just looks different. So I do need to remember that though, that, you know, there are different seasons, and if something's not working, or as your kids grow and they can help out more, you know, you're gonna wanna switch things up, and that is okay. You just have to be able to be flexible and be willing to reevaluate. One goal that I did not write on here that I am going to add, because I mentioned it in my 2023 goals video in the financial section, is creating a budget. My husband and I have never really been like budget people. We just watch, which is kind of how my parents are, but we've just always been, we just watch carefully, and I like it that way. I don't want to necessarily have like a budget down to every single penny, but I do want to have some kind of a budget that we are following, that we are both aware of. I don't know, just a little bit more structure, I think, than just watching, if that makes sense. So my next couple of goals are a little more, I don't know, you could say relational, you know, not necessarily having to do with practical things around the house, but the atmosphere of the home as a result of these goals. So the first one is to slow down. And I briefly mentioned this in my 2023 goals as well. And I don't necessarily mean slow living. I do feel like that is a bit of a fad right now. Though I am drawn to it and I think that there are many good things about it, I don't ever want to like pendulum swing because our culture is so hustle. I don't want to go the other way, because there are good things about working hard and being productive and stewarding your time well, but that is more so what I want to lean into, is stewarding my time well and making sure that I am making space for rest, leaving margin for life to happen, especially being home with my baby. Like, I want time to just pour into him, and if I'm constantly like bringing that hustle culture that I have been in for the past 10 years of my life into my home, that isn't going to be good. But I also don't want to go the other way where I'm just like letting things go and I'm not even, you know, being intentional at all. I'm saying slow down, but I don't mean to the point of like laziness or, you know, unintentionality. So this is something that I'm really going to have to seek the Lord on. I don't know, I should probably do like a study on it or something in the Bible, because I think that would be really good. But I'm just going to have to continue to seek him on this after I'm out of that fresh postpartum stage. Obviously at that time I'm going to be taking it really slow and just letting my body heal, but beyond that I'm going to really have to seek him for what that looks like for us, and also just asking my husband, you know, what's helpful to you? What makes your life less stressful? What can we do as a family to make sure that we're having family time, make sure that we're feeling rested, but also make sure that we are going after our goals and, you know, using our time wisely. That is something that I really want to lean into, and it just feels like I have never been able to do that because I've just been going and going and going for so long. And then the last one that I put down is to spend intentional time with my husband and as a family. So this is something that has been a struggle with me working full time, because I just, every night I feel so exhausted. And you know, we will hang out when we can, but we could be doing so much more just intentionally. It doesn't even need to be, you know, hours on end, but I just want to be very intentional in our time together, and especially bringing a baby into our family. I really want to make sure that we set times to be together as a family, you know, around the dinner table. Even beyond that though, just intentionally to be together, be physically present, you know, no phones, no screens, just be together as a family and start doing that right away, because as he grows, I just want that to be the environment and the atmosphere in our home. So hopefully that makes sense. Well, that brings me to the end of this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any similar or different homemaking goals down below. If you are a homemaker, which anybody can be, whether or not you work from home, don't work at all, work outside the home, anybody can be a homemaker. So let me know what your goals are for your home in the coming year. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you are brand new, and I will see you in my next one.